Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome to Centrist Supremacy. I'm your host, banlsystyle, and I will or may not be joined by our second host, Pavlov of the Pavlovian response. I don't know. Pavlov is feeling so we'll see how he deals. Whether he shows up or not is not a guarantee at the moment. Uh, Let me. Sorry, I forgot to actually send him the link just in case. I said to him, if you feel up to it, then pop on. If you don't, then let it be. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes on. But in the meanwhile, the show must go on. The show must go on. Yeah. So we're gonna keep the show going. As I said, me and Pavlov have made the commitment to a Friday show, no matter what, come hell or high water. Now, admittedly, um, we are we've slowed down on the posting, if you like. We should be posting more during the week as well. Usually Pavlov does that with all sorts of little clips here and there from his various antics in London. He hasn't done it, and I'm at the moment way too busy Monday to Fridays normally to do much apart from this commitment to the show on a Friday. So we'll see. We will be posting more stuff during the week. But it won't be shows. I don't know whether we'll be doing live shows. I want to increase it, but we'll see. We all have commitments, and we all have our own. I mean, I've got my channel. He's got his own channel. So it's a busy life. But nevertheless, boys and girls, hello, Sky. How are you, lovely? Nevertheless, we are here on a Friday to get it on. So what are we going to talk about, kids? We're going to talk about the little bit of what's it called? The World Economic Forum, which is literally being held on the 25th and between the 25th and 29th of January. It's about 4 or 5 days of very interesting things. They always hold it at the end of January of every year. This year, it appears it's going to be a virtual forum, as they're talking about it. Here it is for those of you who wish to see. It is the World Economic Forum, the Davos Agenda, virtual press conference on the Davos Agenda 2021. This is the guy, I guess, speaker, Adrian Monk, Dominic Kaliash or whatever. Anyway, I'll just kick it off just to see. I mean, this is one of the main players in the world, man, that you got to keep your eye on. I mean, we're talking everybody and anybody who's any mover or shaker in the world comes to this thing. So if you guys ignore this World Economic Forum at your own peril. This thing has dwarfed the Bilderbergs. The Bilderbergs was all in secrecy and stuff. These guys don't even fucking keep that. They're not even secret about it. They're just all out. Like, let's do this thing. The Great Reset, the lot. I mean, hold on. Let me just play a little bit of...
Hello and welcome from the World Economic Forum. My name is Adrian Monk. Welcome to this briefing on the 51st annual meeting of the World Economic Forum. Traditionally, that meeting takes place in Davos, Switzerland, but this year is a little different.
There you go. So yes, I mean, I don't want to play too much just for copyright purposes, but this is a little minute and 32 seconds on the Great Reset, which is quite interesting as well. Let's check this one out. I'll try and commentate throughout, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously you can see the COVID thing. I think this COVID is a godsend to despots and dictators. Anyone who wants to create a global hegemony and a dictatorial, has epic dictatorial sort of aspirations. Yeah, I think the coronavirus couldn't be a better situation for a global hegemony if these guys really want it. Although there'll always be outliers in nations who don't want the global hegemony, but I think they've softened up the Europeans and the North Americans for this thing, and they're still softening them up. There are still patriots out there, but let's run through this a little bit. Let's see what's going on. Obviously, empty trains. I don't know what this is. I think it's an aeroplane. It might be a. It might not be an aeroplane, but there's a lot of people in hazmat suits. Of course, disease, fire, doom and gloom. Excuse me. That is number one way for any despot and dictator to try to scare you, because fear is the greatest mover and shaker of it all. When it comes to actually getting human beings to conform, fear is number one. Disease, uh, war, famine. These have always been historically the tools of despots and dictators who wish to rule over you. Now these guys have got global plans. They're not just doing it on a little sort of whim. Our world has changed. Has it really changed? I think it's changed because you guys want to change it. Look at this, temperature reading systems now. I wonder if these can also be used as tracking systems. I wonder if they have more than one use. Looks like a predator image. Oh, they're 3D printing masks or respirators. Giant Zoom meetings. Yes, giant Zoom meetings. And I've seen some very interesting things happening on Zoom as well, especially with homeschooling. There's some gems of images out there for that. By the way, all of the other images, these things have been happening for decades. This is not new. Like, oh, a poor little seagull stuck in all that trash. That trash it didn't accumulate since COVID. It's been around a while. Oh, the pollution, our fragilities exposed. Yep. Scare the shit out of people. Go on. Again, none of this is new. Decades and decades of this has been building up. Our system needs a reset. Does it really? Does it? Who presses the reset? Who turns it off and on again? Is it you guys? You guys want you guys gonna be the ones with the finger on the button for that reset? And then when it resets, who dictates how it all pans out? I bet it's not us. I bet you're not gonna have a democratic fucking vote on it. I bet none of us get a say. None of us peons and lemmings and sheeples. I bet none of us get a vote on that reset, huh? It's just going to be you guys at Davos, your little syndicate, your little cabal of fucking dickweeds who think you know what's best for the rest of us, right? I bet you guys are the ones who are going to do the reset. Wait. What button did they press for reset? There isn't a reset button on a keyboard. I got a keyboard right here. I don't have a reset button on my fucking keyboard. I have Control-Alt-Delete. Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe that's what you want, huh? Control-Alt-Delete the rest of us. Because we're just too cumbersome. Because when the world goes to shit and the resources become real finite, you fuckers still going to want to fly on your private jets. But us peons are going to be awkward and stand in your way because the resources will be finite and so finite that you will only be the ones to be able to really, if you want to keep your standard of living, you'll have to get rid of a whole bunch of us because we're going to come for your shit. Yeah, reset for me, but not for thee, huh? You guys will carry on your private jets and what fucking computer is this? Where the fuck, which museum did they get this shit from? Who has seen a computer like this in the last 30 years? I can't remember a computer like this in the fucking 80s. And I remember the 80s. Does everyone have a role to play? Really? Really? Are you going to come and get a vote from us, you lying sons of bitches? It's not everyone has a role to play. No, no. You say and we do is what you really want to say here. Is you tell us what to do and we just do it. Before we go further in, I'd just like to say big up to Rodney K, Sky, and Kai in the text. I don't know who else is watching, but big up you guys. Guys, I will post the StreamYard link in a second. You guys can we can all have a little chat. Let me paste it and then pin it for anyone. But guys, we're talking about the World Economic Forum. I'm not really interested in too much drama unless it's funny shit. Then I might be interested in. But it all depends on how interesting your drama and personal shit is. And look at that little baby. All right, all right. So that's their little propaganda piece on how they're gonna want to fludge us over. I don't even want to say the F word because if I say it, I might you know. Because by the way, you know the Google is gonna be there. You know that Amazon is there already. Bezos, Zuckerberg, Dorsey, the new guy at Google, the Indian guy, I don't know who he is, Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sure, from YouTube, but then she's part of Google anyway. Oh, they'll all be there. They'll all be there with the fucking bells on. So yeah, okay. I mean, let's go. We've got people in the back. We've got people in the StreamYard. Let's get it. Let's get it on. Let's see what the chaps want to say. What you're saying, like. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'll let you on in a second. In a second. My mouse has slowed down. My computer's slowing down. Big up, Rodney. Big up the man
Big
with
up,
the...
Banksy.
How's
Big
it
up,
going? How's
Banksy.
it
You wanted
going?
to, well, apart from being called a paedophile, it's not too bad.
Welcome to the
You know,
club. Welcome to the club.
wow. You don't know
Hi,
how bad it is
Rodney.
until you're in that club. Hi, Sky.
Hello. Hello,
Hi,
Sky.
Sky.
Sorry, let me say hi to Sky
Hel-
as well.
Hello, I've been called a race traitor to the black supremacy.
Oh my god. But you don't do anything. You hardly ever speak to anyone. Oh, is it because you spoke to Wendy and Jupiter?
Yes.
So now they're calling you a race traitor.
So I've been called a race traitor. I am very angry. No, there's
Oh,
witch doctors. No, there's couple Jamaican witch doctors that are coming after me because I've been talking to you. So now
oh, because
they're
you've been speaking
gonna
to me.
yeah.
Holy shit. Because you've been speaking to
Oh,
me, you're getting
yeah,
slandered.
because I've been talking to you because you're an atheist, and now I've got to make a witch, and now I'm getting they've been coming on the I saw them at 2 o'clock this morning. I don't know. There's just I was just talking to Easy and Kaz. I was just having a chat, and then suddenly I saw I don't know if you want. Oh, I don't know about that. I'll show you. I will show you because I saw. I will show you what they look like. If oh, give me a minute, Patsy. Sorry, give
Don't
me a
worry,
minute.
don't worry, don't worry. You do your thing. Let's get to let's get to Rodney and see what Rodney's up to. Rodney, you've been making some
Yeah, this
noise,
guy.
man. You've been making some waves. You've been shaking some trees. You've been poking some holes.
I'd like to say it's been fun, but it hasn't been much fun having a target on your back. But
Dude,
yeah,
I mean,
it turns out this guy is a Russian. Listen, this guy's a Russian porn star.
who?
Can you believe that? Respect
Respect
framed
is a
me
Russian
with a
porn
Russian.
star.
No, he framed me with a Russian porn star. He said that was me, and I was messaging girls and all this kind of, you know the kind of
So they
allegations
now
he
think you're a
comes up.
Russian. They don't think you're an Indian man anymore.
No. Pretty much 95% of people on the net know he framed me. He photoshopped it. You know, it's StreamYard.
Yeah, but dude,
When
everybody
you're,
knows internet is full of shit.
I don't know.
Look, Rodney,
His supporters don't.
I'm not quite, maybe I'm not getting your angle. Maybe you're just too, you're playing 4D chess or something around here that I don't understand. But I can't get a grip on your angle here. I mean, if you're trolling, then why are you upset? You're getting exactly what you want. Literally, there are panels that are now talking about you when you're not even on the panels. You've become the talk of the town, and there are people who are inquiring about you outside of the panels you're on. Like last night, I got quizzed about you. Like, do I know you? And I said, I don't know you, but I know you've been on, in the chat for a best part of a year, because I remember
2
seeing
years.
you.
More than a year, 2 years.
Yes, I mean, I said, for me, it's like an estimate, a best part of a year, but yeah, certainly more than a year. So you've been trolling these guys for years. You know all the players. You know all the panels.
Yeah, Banksy, anything goes but that paedophile accusation kind of thing. Yeah,
Dude,
anything else can go.
yeah, but the
You
thing
can
is,
say I murdered somebody. It's
yeah, but
better.
Rodney, you got to realize that is their go-to right now, because it's the smear that they know will get under some, people's skin. Unfortunately, if you let that, you let
Banksy,
your,
it's not just that. Banksy, it's not that.
okay, what is it?
I'm about to expose the truth about that guy,
About who?
the horse.
Oh, you're about to expose? Yeah, go ahead, dude. Expose the living
Well,
shit out of
I
him.
have, but I'm about to come up with evidence. But just
Is this
wait
about
a little bit.
his rich family, or is it about something else?
Yeah, about conning the people in his group, in his
Well,
organization,
if
and
yeah, I mean, I've seen his dad's
into
house.
believing he's a roadman, and he tried
Yeah.
to gain their trust doing that way, manipulated them.
Well, I know
all of this
Raspek's
stuff.
granddad's house. I've seen it. I've literally got the. I think he's on the market for sale. So I know
He has a
I know
silver
the
sports
address.
car.
I know
too.
everything about
I
it.
know too. Yeah, I know too. Silver sports car.
Exactly. But what I mean is whether.
But he thinks I don't have the evidence to connect the dots.
I'm with you. Well, I mean,
he said you don't have concrete, but hate to break it to the fucker. I do.
Yeah, well, because I mean, I'm sure you probably got the
So
same.
you know what?
Pieces
You
of
know what? He
information than I
can't show
did.
his face. He can't show his face in any estate after I release that.
I mean,
because anybody, any posh guy, any posh boy, private school educated, millionaire posh boy, who pretends to be road, do you know what they're labeled as? A fed.
Yeah, because they're just pretending. The thing is, I've been saying this about Raspek since like 2018. I know he's a grifter. That's what I took the piss out of him with his begging
we all
ball.
know he's a grifter. Do you know what I thought, Banksy? I'm not joking here. When I first saw him, and you know the insincerity in him, you see it instantly, don't you? I actually thought it was like, do you know what I thought it was? A spoof. Like a spoof about this.
Like an ops at the park.
No, like a spoof, like one of those, like Banzai kind of things. Like, he's pretending to be this righteous guy, and he's really a creep. Like a fucking steak oil salesman. I thought it was that kind of show.
He is.
And then I found out it's actually real. People believe this shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, people believe it, but he still is a snake oil salesman. He still is a fucking grifter. It's a grift. The whole fucking
Well,
thing. The whole bullshit
yeah.
of his forever family for his G block and his G unit and G this and G spot and whatever the
No,
fuck
he's not
else
G
he's got.
block.
And the,
He's anti G block now.
yeah,
Oh,
but what I mean is all the shit,
he's
all the antics he got into, the G unit, G string, all of that shit.
Banksy. Do you know how many bodies he's left in his wake? I mean, how many the trail of destruction he's left in his wake from lies, slander, photoshopped, videos manipulated and everything like that. Do you know how many? We're talking more than a dozen.
Oh yeah.
He's left a dozen people devastated. Do you know what he did to Real with that allegation about Maggie being a whore?
Well,
He
I know
made
Real
Real.
and Maggie split up.
Listen, did you see Real ever the same after that? He had a fucking breakdown.
The
He,
thing is,
he had a breakdown over that.
yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
Real had other issues going on in his life as well, and of course with Maggie. So Real had other things, and I think he allowed these YouTube idiots to get to him. And this is my advice to you: is as much as your troll seems to be brilliant. I mean, if you're trolling, this is a great troll. You're really you're really committed.
No, 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 no. I've got the truth. Yeah, I've got the truth. But around the truth, I will irritate them
Yeah, but what
as
I
I'm
mean is,
giving them the truth. Banksy, I'm giving it to them double. I'm giving them the absolute truth 100%.
sure,
Plus, I'm giving them a troll and I'm giving them the fucking humiliation at the same time.
exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
doing both.
and what I'm saying is
And I'm not going to
that's
lie.
great.
I've, some of the time I've not come out of it feeling great.
But this is what I'm
Because
saying.
it drains your energy, doesn't
Well,
it?
this is what I'm trying to tell you is you have to. I mean, I don't know where your history is, what how long you've been on the internet, what you've been doing on the internet, but if you haven't built a reasonable level of callus, a reasonable level of a thick skin, in order to be able to brush off and bounce off these, like for example, pedophile allegations. By the way, I mean, they even have less on you with that than they do with me. I mean, they can at least go to my trolling or misquoted statement that I made, which would at least be something. Although
Oh, they're doing that with me. They're doing that with me.
but what
You know
did
when
you
he
say?
put that up? I said in a sarcastic way, "All right, you got me now. I've learned my lesson." Like that.
After
And
that,
he said,
they've been calling you a nonsense because of that.
"Yeah, yeah." They've said, "Well, he said he learned his lesson, and he was begging for it to be taken down." That kind of thing.
But I just don't understand
This
how.
guy.
What did
Do
you
you know?
say?
Do you know? He's doing. I'm not sure how many years he's into his law degree. He's above bachelor's.
Who? Respect.
Yes, yes. University of Hertfordshire. Didn't you know?
But no, I mean, he's in his 30s. Hasn't he finished his degree by now?
No, he's still studying there at the moment. He could be doing a PhD for all I know. I don't know.
Nah, I don't see him as a
I
PhD
glanced at it.
type.
No, I glanced at it. He took it offline. When Real was researching him, he took it offline.
You
And Real
you
was getting death threats and everything from
you were in the
Raspberry.
Reels panel when Real and Maggie started, right? You were in those. You not on the panel, but in the text. Like you knew you were watching the
Yeah,
shows.
I
and stuff.
was. I thought it was a free speech platform for all of us. Something that we haven't seen before, actually.
Yeah.
You got to give it to Real for that.
Well, he tried to hold on to that
He
level.
isn't too bright. He's not the brightest spark, is he? But
Well,
he
that's
came up with something.
yeah. I mean, it
He
was
did come
okay.
up
It
with
was all
something
right.
like a free speech,
The thing is, he became
which
too much
nobody
of
else
a
did.
yeah. He became too much of a grifter about it, though. He was like, giving people admin mod status for cash, or you get perks if you pay me this much. He was making ridiculous things like that, instead of just producing a good show. Instead of producing a show that people are willing to donate to because of the content that he's providing, he just started trying to grift money out of people by giving them admin mod roles for a week or some other bullshit. I forgot what else he was doing. I think it was like
Oh, the rats! You had to pay to watch the live stream of the rats at night time.
yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that
the
one?
rat. What the fuck was that?
Who
You had to
does that?
pay to watch a fucking hole, a bucket, basically, with
And people
occasionally
were
a
getting
rat might
excited.
come up and.
There's a movement, and then they get excitement, and then it turns out it's a leaf or something like that in the
Yeah,
background.
it's like fucking nonsense. So yeah, his grift became a bit too ridiculous and too obvious. He should have just produced a good show, produced good content, and say, look, donate to me. At the very least, as much of a grifter as Raspect is, he says, look, if you like the show that I'm producing, you can donate to the show, and here's the PayPal or the
Yeah, but he
stream.
manipulates you with religion and all this
Well,
self-righteousness.
yeah, that's his grift. His grift is to pretend to be the roadman that he is clearly not, because his
But
family are.
am I the only one who sees it as unbelievable that people can believe that with respect?
No, I don't see it as unbelievable that people believe in Respect. There are religious cults everywhere. There's the religious cults popping up all over the shop. People are dumb as fuck. The populace are fucking stupid. So no, I don't believe people believe him, but I will point out that he is, I don't believe the fact that he pretends to be a roadman. He's nothing of the sort. He grew up in a middle
No,
class
he's
family.
nothing of the sort.
He grew up, his granddad owns £1 million house. He is nothing of the sort when it comes to being a roadman that he claims he is. That's
His
the
grandfather
grift.
has his fingers in many pies.
Exactly. That's the bullshit. That's why he fucking puts himself on company house and shit like that. He thinks, he's a director now of Forever Family, and he walks around the streets harassing fucking
He's ashamed of
corner
his
shop
granddad,
owners.
because when I confronted him, he said he doesn't know the guy and his
Which
granddad
guy?
is dead. I said, what about your other granddad? You got two granddads like all of us. And he said, no, I've only had one granddad. And I said, okay, where did the Mackenzie name come from? I don't know where it came from. I said, well, it must have came from somewhere. It wasn't invented. And he went silent.
Well,
He couldn't answer the questions.
no,
and
of
you
course,
know what?
but you should put it on him.
Them
You should
lot
stick it to him.
still tune into him and believe his bullshit.
Unfortunately, cultish status and cultish following is everywhere. You can't brush that off. And he's now actually, if you notice, this is, I think it was you or someone was telling me, if you notice, his show has more Indian and Asian people on it than he does black people now. Because he's Muslim, he caters to the Muslim population, and so his show, his panels have got more Asian and Indian and Indian subcontinent people on there than he does black people. And he's supposed to be going around looking after the black youths. And I
asked him, are you black first or are you Muslim first?
No, he's Muslim first.
And he said, do you know what he said? I don't define myself as black. And then I switched off.
Yeah,
Do you know what? I don't even know what his answer is, Banksy.
You know what it is?
Off when he said that.
Do you know what his answer is? What his real answer is? He's green
What
first.
is it? Because
that's what he is. He's green first. It's all that money, dude. It's all about the mullah. It's all about the Benjamins. He doesn't give a shit about any of these things. He's a pure and simple grifter.
He said, Wallahi, or whatever it is, that Russian was me.
Well,
and he's the one who photoshopped it.
The thing is, Muslims lie, dude. Muslims are permitted to lie to the enemy. You're the kafir. You're the dirty unbeliever. They can lie to you like fish drinks water. Muslims don't have to be trustworthy, believe it or not. Their religion allows them to lie in the land of the kafirs.
They say the best Muslim, no, the worst kuffar.
No, the worst Muslim is better than the best kuffar.
That's it. Yeah. But I switched that around.
Oh yeah.
And said the worst kuffar is better than
the best Muslim. Yeah. Yeah,
that's on Jacko radios. He
absolutely. Oh, hold on, I noticed Sky's back. Sorry, Sky, I didn't see you.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm happening to show you the picture. It won't go on now.
It won't.
Um,
Don't worry, Sky. Don't worry, it's cool. We'll do it another time. So
Oh, Banksy, did you not get my email? No, I sent you an email.
you
And I said,
did.
hey,
Shit, I
did you
didn't.
get it? Yeah. So you got
Let
my
me
address, yeah?
let me check. Let me check. I haven't.
I didn't write
checked.
anything. I just said, hey.
All right.
It was just
Ah,
like
yeah, I see
Rodney.
it. Rodney K. Hi, yeah, hi and hey. There's two different
Yeah.
ones. Sound? Yeah, I got it, dude. I got it. I'm there. So just tell me whatever it is you want to say. Just drop me a line. You saw what Raspect and Dan did to me. It's on now.
All right, don't read it out.
Sorry, dude.
You're a great confident, aren't you? Whoa.
I know. Well, no. I mean, the thing is, this is not like it's some secret. I'm not doxing you here. You're just telling me that those guys are being dicks, which I've.
can you see it?
I did it
Look,
because you were
Oh
saying
my
it as
God!
well.
Yes. Hold on, Rodney. Let's see.
Steve,
Well,
at 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, these Jamaican Britpop with the chalk have decided come on here and I've been a race traitor because Nanny is white and I saw them. There wasn't on here. There was on there wasn't on here. There wasn't talk. There was in the chatting to me, and I told them to go back to Africa or Jamaica.
damn, girl.
Sorry, Banksy.
Yeah.
Have you heard of StreamYard being hacked before?
StreamYard being hacked. No,
And
not
there's
Yeah, like
catfish.
a private conversation. Have you ever heard of that?
not. Oh, as in a hack up a private StreamYard.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
been
say if we had
catfish.
a private conversation
Yeah,
now, somebody could
yeah.
hack it. How possible is that? How easy?
As in someone. It's
Just ignore them.
it's oh okay. Sky's gone. I don't know actually. I'm not entirely sure. It's possible, of course, but the thing is, they would have to hack your YouTube account in order to then find the StreamYard that's linked to it, because I don't know if your current account is connected to your.
About to do it. They've been going off defending me and you.
They've been going after us. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Banksy, because I think that happened to myself and Easy.
What, you guys were in a
Yeah.
private conversation and someone else came in?
Yeah, well, I think so. I really think so.
Well, the thing is, even if
and
they
then
do
it went
come
all
in,
funny, and then-
you can chuck them out.
No, the particular person you are outside of this and mentioned comments on another channel. I'm just wondering, how possible is that? They'd have to hack into YouTube, which is a big.
No.
That would be a
The thing is, look, if I've, for example, this link I've given out for the StreamYard, anyone can come into this StreamYard, even if I'm not here, even if I leave. That link, because I've given that link out to public, it's publicly available. Anyone can come into that link, like at any time. So if I use this link, yeah, on a private conversation, like if I give you this link and two of us go into it privately, but I've given this out on my YouTube channel, like right now, publicly, anyone who has that link can at any time pop into that StreamYard. Now they won't be on the live panel like this. They'll be in that back chat, but they'll be able to hear everyone in the panel.
Yeah, they've been talking about people's business.
Yeah. So if you want to go into a private StreamYard conversation, then you shouldn't be using this. See, some people I think have done that. They've used the link of a StreamYard which they've previously maybe given out in some public form. and then they go into it thinking it's just going to be them, and then they don't realize someone may have randomly just clicked on that link. Like the links, there's the StreamYard links that I have on all my videos. They're all in the description. You can click on any of them right now and go into that StreamYard and sit there and listen to what, if anyone, I mean, of course there's no one in there, it's dead, it's empty, but the space, the StreamYard connection is available. And so anyone can do that. Anyone can click on a link.
Well, okay, so how safe are my details on here?
I've
got to worry about that kind
They're
of
as safe as your YouTube account is safe. If your YouTube account is safe...
But how come so many people have been doxxed, Banksy?
People, dude, I'm not joking. People dox themselves.
Because we've been talking about racism and religion, they're popped up, they've been popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
I come here to talk to you because I needed help.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, Rodney, 90% of the time, people dox themselves. I've heard people get angry and give details of either where they live or their names or whatever out on their own streams. We found, for example, Wendy Wu's whole Facebook, because she one time did a screen share. Crazy, this is what I'm saying about people being naive. She did a screen share. This was like 2019, 2018, and she wanted to expose something, and she went into Facebook to show us show her audience something on Facebook. And we could, she just left her URL, her Facebook URL, just up there in the screen. I just paused the screen for like 2 minutes.
Do a screen share.
Okay.
I wouldn't do a screen share, with what I've been hearing about this kind of shit.
Yeah,
I can't go on
just in
because
case.
Tata is very angry. Tata,
what about the other 10%, Banksy?
Yeah. Sorry?
Banksy, you said 90%.
Well, the thing is, the 10% that get doxxed, yeah, I mean, they either have left something open or they have, someone has actually found out. I mean, we're all exposed on the internet in some form or fashion. So if I have your name, if I have your first and last name, I can find out your bank account details. Not like your bank card number. That's a bit more harder to get, but I can find out who you bank with.
What about me? They have Rodney K.
Well, right now, if Rodney is actually your real name, well, you've already given them one half of a two-piece puzzle.
Okay, but they can be anything.
I'm not a catfish. I am a real person.
That's right, you are, and Sky, you stay real.
Chantel is a catfish. Brian Hell is a catfish, and Luke is a catfish.
Yeah, I agree. They probably are. I mean, Brian is insane. I mean, Brian is certifiable.
Did you see him on the Lions Den against me?
No, dude, I don't watch those things. I'll be honest. I'm sorry.
No. I went on there. I was arguing with that fucking horse cunt.
Yeah.
And then Brian Hull comes on. He says, "Rodney, want to ask you a question, mate?" I said, "Okay. You mentioned before that you went around Southeast Asia and travelled around Asia." I said, "Yeah." "Did you go on the hippie trail?" I said, "Well, I don't know the hippie trail. I went to a few of those countries, not all."
Yeah.
And he said, "Where'd you go?" And I said, like Burma, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. He said, "Right, Cambodia. Say hello in Cambodian." "When did you go there?" "No," he said, when did you go there?" I said, fucking 17 years ago or something like that, 16 years ago. "Say hello in Cambodian." And then before I can even speak, which I didn't even know how to say hello in Cambodian, I can't remember. Yeah, I've been to 27, 28 countries, Banksy. I can't remember every hello. Because
you see, your mistake there, first of all, you made a couple of mistakes. You first exposed the fact that you actually went somewhere and you wanted to be honest about it. Now, I mean, again, this to me exposes a little bit of naivete of your trolling. If you're going to go on a troll, you don't expose anything of your real life. If they tell you, have you been to Cambodia? Say, no, I've never been to Cambodia. Did you go on the hippie trail? I might have done.
But Banksy, there's nothing on the internet. I don't leave anything on the
No.
internet.
But what you don't realize is they have now gone and used the fact that you were in Southeast Asia to pin some kind of Gary Glitter pedo shit on you.
Oh, you got it right. Did you not see the video? You got it exactly right. He called me Gary Glitter.
Yes.
That's exactly what he called me.
But that's what they were going to do. Of course they are. They did that to Hopsky. Hopsky says, "I go to Thailand. He actually has a wife. He has an ex-wife."
He did kind of ask for it though, Banksy, with his, because he actually came out with that joke.
Yeah, of course he made a joke too. But what I mean is, he actually goes to Thailand, and he has family there. He has, his ex-wife is there.
Of course.
So they immediately pinned the whole pedo thing on him, and of course he went ahead and made a joke out of it, which actually then they doubled down on it even more. But the fact is that the main thing is, first of all, I think most of these people, because you see, most of these people like Respect, literally right now, Raj is on Veli Vision's show. And by the way, this entire conversation has derailed from the World Economic Forum, so we're no longer even talking about that. But anyway, fuck it. We are where we are. Pavlov didn't come. He allowed this to happen. It's your fault, Pavlov. But anyway, Raj is right now on Veli Visions exposing how Respect apologizes for 9-year-old marriages. He says that in Africa there are girls getting married at 15 and 16, so it's okay.
No, he didn't say 15. He said 13.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I've been listening.
There you go. Sky even knows about it. So what I'm saying is these people have apologized. They've been apologetic and saying it's okay to marry 9-year-olds and 13-year-olds.
Did you see me against Nicholas?
Well, non-scholars. Everybody calls him non-scholars now because he's a straight up apologetic for 9-year-old marriages. These people are literally advocating for marrying and having sex with 9-year-olds, and yet they call you a pedophile. Look at the goal. Look at the goal on them. This is called deflection. This is also called what's it called? There's a term for it, where if you're doing something but that's wrong, but you actually accuse your opponent of doing the very thing that you're doing. So that's what they do. They're the ones who apologize for 9-year-old marriages. They're the ones who have pedophilic conversations and tendencies, and yet they call their opposition pedophile, because if they quickly point the finger at you, then it won't reflect on them. They'll try to divert from it. And we have Pavlovian response and Chris in the house. Big up everyone. Big up Pavlov. Big up everyone.
Who is this Pavlovian response? I've never heard of this before.
Who is this waste man?
Is this the Russian porn star?
Actually,
yes.
There's someone there. If there's someone there, block them.
Who?
Witch doctors.
Oh yeah, forget those people. Don't worry, I'll take care of them,
She's
Sky.
talking about Shakara going into all that.
Oh, Shakara, I don't know. I mean, Shakara is just a Pan-Africanist. Sorry, Pavlov and Chris. I started this whole thing with a highbrow intentions, but we are now talking about Respect's show. It took a nosedive like a 747, like an aeroplane in 9/11.
What was the original subject? The World Economic Forum or something, right?
Originally, that was my intention, but now we're just talking about fucking drama.
PayPal instead.
Yeah, Respect and his PayPal, and the fact that Rodney, if I want to get the other guys in on the original topic, but for you, I would say two things. Number one, don't ever try to convince these people of something that is truthful of yourself, because they will purposefully be ignorant, or they won't, they'll pretend that they don't believe you because they just want to coast more information out of you. So when they're telling you, "Oh, I don't believe that you've ever been to Cambodia," then they try to force you into proving them that they're wrong by giving more information about your time in Cambodia. That's how it is. This is why that fat, chubby hippo in a hijab accused a perfectly innocent family of being related to me, because she knows that in order for me to prove her wrong. I have to actually expose my real family to say no.
He's online now, Wendy.
Yeah.
I'm staying here.
Do you know?
No worries.
Do you know Banksy? Do you know Banksy? Who's the worst? Dan.
Oh, Dan is, yeah, he's a proper snake.
I'm talking. He's worse than Raspic. He's the bottom of the fuck.
Oh yeah, he's an absolute piece of shit. I called that Dan like in 2019. I called that Dan for a piece of shit that he is, and he's constantly going on going, oh me innocent little me, I didn't do anything. He's the rat fucking snake piece of shit.
Hey Banksy, he's the one who set that up with the comments of the paedophile and the guy. He's the one who did that with respect.
Yeah, I'm sure they did it to me. They did it to everyone. They set it up like that to try to pretend.
I'm gonna get him back.
Well, the fact is that I've already exposed that dorky looking fuck with his family. I've got his sister's fucking YouTube video. His sister writes for The Guardian. Look up Alexandra Anderson. That's it. Just look up Alexandra Anderson. She's a fucking columnist for the fucking Guardian.
I researched that one myself.
Yeah.
But
so
I'm
fuck Dan.
I'm thinking now, what can make Dan sorry that he did such a terrible thing? What can I do?
I would say that if you want to go and read that article about that Jamaican man who palled around with David Cameron.
No, I did that on the Lion's Den. I did that.
No. I'm saying you go find out who that cafe that they run, and then start to get real deep on who these people are, and maybe.
Hey, do you know what I heard? They had a very good they had a very good smoking policy in that place. Believe it or not.
There you go.
They weren't too strict on the no smoking areas.
There you go. So, I mean, dude, if I want to hurt Dan, if I really want to fucking go balls deep on Dan.
You're listening now, Dan, you get me. You fuck with me, your life is over.
Yeah, but dude, if I wanted to go balls deep on Dan, the thing is, what these guys don't realize is I don't give enough of a shit to actually. I will be fucking. If I want to really go balls deep, I'll do a live stream outside of Dan's fucking dad's cafe. That's what I'll be fucking doing. I'll be there live streaming whilst having coffee with old Papa. But I don't want to do that.
Banksy, after what you did to me, every thought has gone through my mind. And any suggestions from anybody on the internet,
but
please feel free to message me.
Rodney.
Yeah.
I would say don't.
Guys, sorry. Let me just say one thing, Banksy. I'm sorry. Let me just see if we're on the same page here. Is Dan the guy who was in that newspaper or whatever?
Yeah, with David Cameron.
That's the one.
Yeah. Dan Totin or Toyotin or whatever the fuck his thing is. But what I'm saying is, I have no interest. Because Dan is insignificant to me. I only do these little things just to fuck with them. I screwed with Dan. Dan lost his collective shit because I posted a picture of him, his goofy brother, his mum and his dad on Discord.
Another thing I need verified. I can't put it out here right now. There was a certain incident. There was a certain incident in Oxford where I think the guy is linked to him. Like you're
talking about some guy attacking somebody with a hacksaw.
No, that's his father.
Yeah.
I've exposed all of that.
Oh, you've already exposed that.
He was on the hack, wasn't he? He was very much on the hack.
Mm-hmm.
He attacked an innocent man
with a fucking hacksaw. Oh man, I can't believe you took that. I wanted to fuck. I was saving that one to fuck with Dan at an opportune moment.
No, I said to him, in my personal opinion, I don't know for sure, but I think it was drug related and all that stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to put a pin in this because I want to bring in Chris and Pavlov on the whole World Economic Forum because I genuinely want to elevate this conversation back to original highbrow shit. Because according to Pavlov, you see, Pavlov wasn't here, so I could fuck around all I wanted. Now he's come in to regulate my shit in order to bring this thing back up to highbrow shit. Because I was gonna go back in the gutter and just take the show with me, but.
No, Banksy, you're better than that. I see greatness within you.
Does Pavlov want the viewers or not?
Sorry, Sky, what was that?
Do you know Susan? Yeah, they're coming on to Wendy's channel. Oh,
All right, you go, and then I'll come. I'll come after I finish this show. We're gonna talk a little bit more, but you go over, have a chat, and then
no,
I'll come
I'm
over.
not coming. I'm staying here. I'm just
Oh,
doing African distance down there. I'm
African.
not going there.
Okay, okay. So let's bring in Chris and Pavlov, guys. I started off with a little bit of a video clip. I don't know if you guys came in from the start or midway about the Great Reset. Clearly, the World Economic Forum is all about that, and this year's Davos meeting is no long is a virtual one. But the thing is, they're saying it's between the 25th and the 29th of January. But I see this promotional video. I guess this must be a promo video, because we're on the 22nd. It's technically not going to start until another 3 days. So either way, it doesn't matter. What do you guys think? How do you guys want to get in on this? What's your thoughts?
I've got lots of thoughts about the WEF. Pretty much all of them are bad. As much of a cliche as this is, I am increasingly susceptible to the argument that this is essentially a massive power grab for global communism, and I realize that probably sounds alarmist, but let me back up my thinking a little here. So the WEF types have always wanted global governance. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a new world order, I'm a one world government, right? But there are actually practical reasons for why you would want some kind of central global governing body to govern things like the sea or space or, sort of natural assets that are held for all of humankind. The problem really is that, the UN's been trying this for ages, but there's no real way to get around the problem that the current system that we exist in is one of nation states. It's so deeply ingrained that literally everyone thinks of this system instinctively, right? You are a member of a certain country, and the WEF or the world government people essentially want to erase that. Now, I wouldn't be so against, the UN model, but the problem is that if we are all just citizens of the world and these people rule us, there is no way to elect them and there is no way to get rid of them. And given that they all seem to be totally on board with the climate change issue, well, basically, you will eat the bugs. You will live in the pod. You will own nothing. You will be happy. You will not eat meat. You will conserve your power consumption. Why? For the good of the planet. Is there no fucking fundamental freedom that these cunts will not ask us to give up for the good of the planet? Jesus fucking Christ, man. Pardon me, but that's my hot take.
Nice. And I will say, Rodney's gone. Bye, Rodney. I will say that is it possible for those of us who are of the freedom sort of thinking mindset to be able to go out into the outskirts? Now, I have been noticing that Bill Gates has been buying an extortionate amount of farmland recently. He's invested in a huge amount of farmland in the United States. Now, I'm thinking to myself, don't get me wrong. I'm a city rat. Okay, I'm like one of those raccoons that has been so climatized to sort of suburban living that if I go into the woods, I would probably die in 48 hours. Without, for me, living it rough is when a hotel doesn't provide good room service. So I'm gonna have problems in tents and shit. Is there a way that we could move out into the wilderness, have our freedom, and still provide room service and Uber Eats?
You will have to live like a partisan, essentially. You will effectively be a partisan. Pavlov will know exactly what I mean here. The partisans are the people who fight against the regime, or not necessarily even fight. They don't take part in the regime. They live out in the wilderness. They subsist entirely on a cash economy. They have no access to government services. And if the cops ever find them, they're in big fucking trouble. it's not a great life, as anyone who knows anyone who has family who used to be Pakistanis would be able to tell you. I think as city dwellers that we all are, we may already be screwed. I hate to put it that way, but that is truly how I feel. I don't know if you guys have heard, but they're already saying that the lockdown will probably last until summer. There's a new variant. I mean, this thing is potentially open-ended. What happens when the food runs out? What happens when the money inflates out of existence? I'll tell you what fucking happens. Rationing is what happens.
Absolutely.
And then it's over, bros.
Absolutely. And look, it really is a funny situation in the end, because it sounds like a perfect case of doomed if you do, doomed if you don't. Like, if you stay in the cities, if you just obey the new way of living, you become basically part of a commie system. If you don't stay in the cities and you try to live somewhere else, you'll just become a different kind of a commie. You'll become like a partisan or an anarchist or some kind of a more of a shitholian commie. Like, there'll be city commies and shitholian commies, basically. It really sounds a little bit bad, and I'm really, playing it very lightly when I say a little bit. So yeah, I agree with Chris. I definitely agree with him. By the way, funny, let me just mention the fact that Biden's inauguration has had troops all over the country. Has there ever been a presidential inauguration in the USA with these many fucking troops all around the state? That's the question of the day for me.
Well, they had to keep the white supremacists out of DC.
Did you guys see Biden's Chinese handler on the TV? So when Biden rocked up to the inauguration, he was accompanied by a Secret Service agent who, well, he looked Chinese to me, but more importantly, he had, Pavlov, you'll know what I mean, right? You know the communist eyes? The kind of like facial expression people get from growing up in a communist regime. I think it's from like constantly having to control your facial expression. You see it on the Politburo.
Absolutely. It's the kind of eyes of a person whose humanity was completely broken.
Yeah, well, the eyes on this Chinese guy, who presumably is Secret Service and was sticking very, very close to Biden, was exactly like that. So I'm not hopeful. And to address your earlier point, Pavlov, and yours as well, Banksy, if there is one thing about authoritarians you can guarantee is that authoritarians gotta authoritate. Right? They won't let anyone be outside the system, right? To be outside the system is a direct challenge to their authority, and they can't have that, right? So you may leave the city, you may go into the wilderness, but they will come after you because they have to have you. Your very existence is a blow against their idea of a perfect world.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's not even about how much they'll miss you or how much they need you. No, it's about the message that they will send by prosecuting you for trying to be different.
I mean, you're effectively you'll sit as a symbol of defiance, and they can't have any symbols of defiance. Symbols are cancer. They're like a dictator's worst nightmare. This is exactly V for Vendetta. He says, "I'm an idea, and ideas are immortal." So, that's the thing. They can't have anyone become a splinter in the minds of the rest of the populace. If you're an individual and you're living your life as an individual, you may attract other people's attention. You may actually have heads turn. It's almost even. I mean, do you ever think? We watch films like V for Vendetta. We watch films like Equilibrium, and we never think this is crazy.
You never think it will happen here. I have always thought it might happen here, and I'm pretty sure that Pavlov is also on the same page with me here. I have always feared that this shit will happen. that a general ignorance and lack of knowledge of the lessons of Orwell will wind us up in exactly this motherfucking situation. And I think it was Dostoevsky who said that after the revolution, he was tormented by the thought that if everyone had just stood up at once and grabbed whatever was to hand and resisted when they came knocking at the doors, perhaps it could have been prevented, but it wasn't, and it fucking won't be. I'm not hopeful.
You know, they say the revolution is not going to be televised. I suppose the dictatorship is also...
It will be televised, right? But it will be televised in a certain way, much like the Biden inauguration was about bringing the country together and come on, man, and we have to heal. Yeah, man, they just say whatever needs to be fucking said. That is one of the principal components of these kinds of regime. There is no truth. You look at the Soviet Union and you can see this very clearly. It began to become a joke, 30 years in. People would just joke about how the government lived in a para-reality that did not correspond to reality. We are used to reality corresponding to reality. But I think we're learning quite quickly.
Well, I mean, isn't the old saying, you can ignore reality, you can't ignore the consequences of ignoring reality?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So let's talk about some... Oh, go on, Sky.
I apologize. I'm sorry if when he's not listening. I'm sorry if I upset you if I don't want to come in. I'm too scared. I'm not blind. I can see Dudu in the chat at the gymnasium.
Who?
I can see, Dudu.
Voodoo? I don't see anyone called Voodoo.
Yes. No, on Wednesday, not on Wednesday. The other day. The other night.
Oh, okay.
I saw them. I'm not blind. I saw them, and I think when you don't, I think everybody's soft with me. I'm not mixed up. I'm telling the truth. No lie. I've got it videoed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest,
They came on to my Infant's channel.
I'm with you.
And I saw them again last night.
The problem is I don't get involved with these guys too much, and I don't think you should stress yourself. You should not allow them to stress you. Just mostly ignore them if you can. If not, don't let them get to you, though.
Cass is angry. I'm worried about Cass now, because she said, "Who are they?" And I just said they're witch doctors.
Yeah. Well, just hold that thought there, Sky. I just want to get back to the thing that I wanted to say in regards to this potential reset and this economic changes that are coming. I mean, they're talking about all sorts of things. The things I was thinking about, Chris and Pavlov, is I always get accused, especially by one of the guys at Speaker's Corner called DJ Rizza. He's a great Turkish guy, and we banter all the time. And he always says to me, you're very quick to point out what's wrong with everything, but you have no solutions for anyone. You always just point out what's wrong, but and in all honesty, it's easy. Of course, it's easy to point out what's wrong. It's always difficult to have fixes for these things. I'm thinking practical. Okay, I'm thinking very, very practical. Let's say you're a guy with very little money. Let's say you got £2,000 worth of savings. That's all you have to your name. Maybe have some junk stuff you might be able to eBay. You may, if you sell everything you own, you might have, 2-3 grand. I'm literally talking about a friend of mine that I was discussing with him because he's thinking about leaving Britain. He's thinking about just packing up and leaving Britain. and I'm not joking. He has maybe like £3,000, £2,000 to his name maximum, if anything. And I said to him, okay, you're going to need to liquidate all your assets in order to have some bulk of money to be able to leave and then have some, a place to be able to rent. And luckily, he's got family in Lebanon, so he doesn't have to pay any rent or anything. He can just live there rent free. So that's going to give him some, some advantages. But generally, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, the reset is coming. They're going to herd all the city folks and force them into whatever scenarios, the pods, and eating fucking locusts and cooked scorpions or whatever it is. And for those of us who want to get the fuck out, you've got $2,000, $3,000 in your pocket. That's it. You've got fiat currency cash, maybe, and a car with a tank of gas, the Blues Brothers style. You have a car with a full tank of gas and $2,000 in your pocket. What do you do?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, fleeing the country seems like a good idea, but where would you go? This shit is happening everywhere. I would recommend the United States if you could get in, but the Bidening has just happened, so that might be a problem. I mean, I have looked, and it may already be too late, unfortunately. You cannot just leave the country anymore. You need like a negative test, probably very soon. You will need to have been vaccinated. Where would you go? Possibly Southeast Asia, possibly South America. But all the places that I checked out also have very strict lockdown measures. It is everywhere. Because one of the great problems with instituting communism has always been this thing called capital flight, right? So one country gets communism and everybody fucking leaves, which is why they always wind up closing the borders. So in order to institute something like this effectively, it would have to be something that happens everywhere at once at the same time, so that there is no possibility that everyone can simply get up from one country and leave. And this is basically the situation that we have at the moment. Pavlov, do you have any thoughts on this? It's not as though I have not considered your question, Banksy. Like, I have considered it long and hard, but I have not come to any solution, I'm afraid.
Pavlov, $2,000, a tank full of gas. What do? The commies are coming. The big red is. Oh, I don't think Pavlov can talk. I think he's in a position of unable to converse. Now look,
to answer your question, right? You got $2,000 and you got a car with a tank of gas. So all you really can do is drive, presumably. I mean, I guess you could sell the car and try and parlay that into a plane ticket. But if you can only drive, I'm not even sure if you can get through the Channel Tunnel at the moment. I'm not really sure. Maybe you can. But then you would be in France, and my understanding is that France is in exactly the same position. I guess you could maybe drive to Russia. I really don't know. I don't really want to have to learn another language, but I don't really want to have to convert to communism either. So, haha.
Where I think the sanctuary is going to be? Alaska.
Yeah, but you got polar bears there, man. You're fucking fucked over in like 45 seconds.
Which would you rather, Banksy? Polar bears or a totalitarian state?
Well, this is now. I will give you my answer. First of all, yeah, you got to liquidate the car in order to get more cash, convert that into a flight ticket. Now, I was thinking, okay, North America, Canada. You were saying United States with the Biden, you might still be screwed. But Canada, the thing is, the reason I'm thinking about United States or Canada, either way, is not because we have strawberry, big up strawberry.
Big up my strawberry guy.
Big up strawberry. Oh, by the way, big up JK. James King.
Big up strawberry. Big up.
Everyone. Oh damn! Now I've got too many people and not enough room. I will whatever. Oh, why is it such a difficult fucking name? I'll let you on as soon as someone jumps off later. Okay, let me tell you. I was thinking America. I was thinking Canada. I was also thinking possibly South America, Brazil, Amazon jungle. The reason I was thinking about these is because they have vast.
And I let your face on and went on jump off. Then come back later.
Okay, Sky. Take care. Bye, love. Okay, now these places do have vast expanses of wilderness, but of course Canada has grizzly bears, Kodiak bears, and then if you keep going further north, you eventually meet a polar bear. So survival is not going to be comfortable in those environments. Then you go down.
Not been paying attention to what's been going on in Canada, have you?
Well, no, I mean I'm talking about if you wanted to completely disappear into the jungle and you don't have to deal with the Canadian government as such.
Yeah, like make your own cabin.
Basically, if a country has enough wild sort of reservations or wildlife or jungles, you can disappear into the jungle and just avoid all societal contact and just purely live off the land.
Forests in the case of Canada.
Sorry?
Forests in the case of Canada.
Yeah, the forests and South America in the Amazon jungle. Those are the places that I was thinking about getting away from people. Now you've got Africa, Central Africa, Congo, the Serengeti. Of course, you have lions and shit.
Dude, the diseases will kill you way before the lions. I wouldn't worry about the lions, man. I'd worry about the diseases and the parasites. I mean,
there you go. If you don't have a lion tearing in your ass, you got some kind of fucking guinea worm burrowing into your fucking eye socket.
I wouldn't say tropical countries are the most ideal countries to go to. With the heat and all that,
the humidity, diseases galore. So you've got these sort of scenarios where life expectancy is short, and yet you then have to either live with the communist overlords and have to worry about your social fucking credit. So on balance, can you really get away? I mean, we talk about getting away, we talk about this fantasy of prepping and all the preppers bullshit, but can you really realistically get away? Is any of us truly equipped to live that kind of life in the Amazon jungle or the north forests of Canada or the Serengeti?
Adapt or die.
Well, most of us aren't.
Adapt or die. Just give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah, but most of us can't deal with the hermit type lifestyle. I think the ideal thing is to find a community.
Fuck it, mate. If you haven't got any kids, give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. If the primary side effect is infertility in you or your offspring, then I'd probably be okay with that. If that is the only major side effect. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, really, nobody fucking knows, man. I mean, we've had the vaccine for less than 3 months at the moment. My understanding is that the death rate among seniors has actually climbed since they started administering the vaccine. I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
My
I don't really know. There are so many things I don't really know.
Via the NHS. I said my grandmother just registered to take her vaccine via the NHS. So
I think unless I heard incorrectly, my mum's just had it. So
damn.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. As more people that we know personally, right, start to have it, one of two things is going to happen. Either stories will begin to filter out, which will increase resistance, or the panic will subside as most people tolerate it fine. I honestly feel it's going to be one of those two things. I mean, obviously, the diehard anti-vaxxers, Bill Gates wants to, inject a microchip into my dick so that he can track my Pornhub account, right? Like, they're never going to go for it, right? But the normies will be swayed, I think. My understanding is that there's been quite high resistance among some of the frontline medical workers in taking it, probably because, why would you take it if you're not in a high-risk group? This is the question that's never really answered, right? Or it's answered like, oh, you might kill granny. Well, how's this for a fucking idea? Why don't we just isolate the old and vulnerable? Why don't we just put distance between ourselves and the people that are most at risk instead of isolating everyone? But oh no, you say that, you're a terrible person. You must want granny to die. You don't care about your fellow man. Look, man, I care about my fellow man, right? But I want my fucking life back. This has been going on for a year. There are really serious fucking problems starting to emerge with this shit. You can't just lock down an entire country ad infinitum. By the time this is over, people will be begging for release. Because this is the way it goes. No one ever fucking begs for communism, right? They have it imposed upon them as a solution to a horrible problem.
Problems like that are always engineered as well ahead of time, so that it seems like they come in with the perfect thing to end all your troubles. So, the guy, like Crassus, setting fire to houses in Rome. Oh, he just happens to own the fire brigade, and a load of property just became really cheap. Fantastic.
Or like Hitler burning the Reichstag.
So, I mean, as far as real solutions, real individual sort of solutions, it's not feasible, is it? I mean, you're just going to have to suck up and take whatever medicine they give you.
I will die locked up in my bedroom if I have to, man. This is bollocks, this vaccine stuff.
No. I'm not talking about just the vaccine. I'm talking about the potential communist global hegemony.
Yeah, I hear the Democrats are going to implement that Chinese credit system. Only that at least the Chinese, it's based on how well you behave, but in America, it's based on your right-wing pro-Trump views and.
Well, no, not even that. It's how righteous you are. It's not, and it's an ever-changing landscape. It's an ever-changing goalpost. It's not. You could be perfectly virtuous and righteous today, and a bigot and a bastard tomorrow because the goalposts shift while you were asleep, and you were not woke enough.
There's actually something to that because if anyone knows anything about search engine optimization, which is how you get your website or what have you filtered in by Google.
Oh shit!
You'll find out that the keywords get changed every day. So there's definitely something to the idea that you could get chosen for being upvoted socially, as it were, or downvoted. Keywords get changed every day. So
It's like that Black Mirror episode. What was it called? It's a classic. The woman who goes trying to get to a wedding, and her social credit score keeps sliding through a series of unfortunate events. Just wait until they link your credit rating to your social media.
Yeah, your Twitter account.
Have suggested. I mean, you raise an interesting point. This is actually a much crueler system than the Chinese system. At least the Chinese system is based upon things you actually do. The rules are well known. The American style system is far more
insidious.
Insidious, and it will ensure that nobody will ever say anything again except hail the party. I am so left. I am so woke. Save the planet. Trans women are women. It will literally be nothing but that. It will be an ideological landscape so bleak as to make nuclear glass in desert look positively green in comparison.
Yeah, guys, I just want to say, please welcome Paprika. I'm going to jump off and let Pavlov back on. But let's bring Paprika into this. She's a lovely lady who I've met at Speaker's Corner now, and I'm excited that she's on the show.
Yo, Paprika. What's
Hi,
up, man?
Yo,
Such a nice guy,
can you hear me?
Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah? That's
Yeah.
cool. That's good. Because my headphones aren't the greatest, so I'm not so sure. And I'm first time on a StreamYard with you guys, so thanks for having me.
Are you looking forward to eating the bugs? Paprika?
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to owning nothing and being happy? Is the real
prepared yourself?
Man, absolutely, absolutely. I have a good experience of eating grasshoppers in Mexican restaurants. So yeah, I'm well prepared onto fucking eating shit to the rest of my life. And I think it might last forever, actually. I don't think it's gonna end in June. I don't think it's gonna end anytime soon, because basically it's all about this pseudo flu. And since flu been here since centuries, it will last. So they will just keep it updating every single year, most likely. That's why they want you to keep taking vaccination every year or whatever.
I mean, could I just point out here? I know hashtag unpopular opinions and all, and don't mention this in polite company. But whether or not COVID was actually engineered or a bioweapon has not actually been definitively answered either way, right? The question has just been pushed away. So just to, think of some more really horrible possibilities. Let's say for a moment, let's pretend that this was in fact a bioweapon. What's to say there aren't many more? The Wuhan Institute of Virology was working on literally thousands of different coronaviruses. They could just potentially release another one whenever people start getting too uppity, or when the fear fades away and everyone's like, it's over now. Let's fucking open up again.
Yeah, that's what they always do. It's all about timing, isn't it? They release like the facts like later, years down the line, when people have gotten over the actual issue in a way, don't they? With a lot of these things.
This would ensure that immunity never develops, by the way. So usually with like a natural disease outbreak, people develop immunity. But if you have a potentially thousands long list of engineered viruses, then immunity will never develop.
Oh, and speaking of lists, right? I've heard, and I've not had this confirmed yet, but certain parts of the country, they've already had the military out to assist in the process of keeping people from smashing the vials of vaccine open, and to just assist in the injecting of the vaccine. They're just on site, and apparently they do list your address if you refuse the vaccine, which I personally think is a slippery slope to nowhere particularly good. But I'm speculating.
But hold on. Where is that? Is that in the UK? They list your address if you refuse to take the vaccine.
Yes, they do. I got wind of it in Liverpool. So it's not in London yet, but it's. I guess they're picking one of the weakest cities in the country, because I think Liverpool got hit by the demanufacturing, as it were, of the country around sort of the 80s, 90s, and it's notorious for gang violence.
Yikes.
Probably also notorious for people who don't like to be told what the fuck to do. I think would probably be the more pressing issue.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
I have heard tell that you may be able to claim religious exemption due to, I believe there is cultured human fetal cells in some of the vaccines. I'm not 100% sure if this is true. I read it on the internet somewhere. So,
well, there are so many bloody vaccines now. You've got 3, and apparently a 4th one in development. Like by the end of the year, we're going to have a catalogue.
And not only that, right? Okay, so this is fucking crazy. Okay, so the original idea of the Moderna vaccine is that you need 2 shots, I believe it's 2 weeks apart, in order to achieve 95% immunity. Okay? This is the bill of shit that we have been sold. Now, they're saying, oh, no. We'll just get the first dose out to as many people as possible. But it wasn't tested with purely 1 dose. What's the effectiveness of 1 dose? And what is more, they are saying, oh, well, we can just give a second booster shot later, potentially months later, with whatever vaccine we happen to have lying around. Now, that's not how these things work, as far as I'm aware. If you get 1 vaccine and then 3 months later you get another kind of vaccine, you're not going to get anywhere near as much protection, which, of course, begs the fucking question of what the fuck this is all about.
I would say compliance. The whole thing is one massive compliance test after another. What are you willing to do? Just believing whatever you're told the reason is for it, even if there is no reason.
Yeah, I would
Some
agree.
of
In
the time.
fact, I would go one step further, and I would say that you are actually being trained to not think of a reason, right? Because reasons make people impudent. You know what I mean, right? When authority tells you what to do, authority doesn't want you to say, "Oh, what's the reason?" They just want you to obey. In this sense, the more stupid and contradictory the regulations are, actually, the better. It is not your desires that matter anymore. It is the desires of the government or the people or the planet or just anything other than your own.
I would say it's probably quite the opposite. I think they want that because I'm in some of these groups that used to be associated with the protests, and what you see is just like one guy's got a theory. Oh, now it's 100 guys with 100 theories, and I've only dropped off this for an hour, and I can't keep up with all of it. And I think if what that plays into their strength, because then everyone basically ends up arguing, oh, my theory is more correct than yours. You're a complete you're a complete asshole. You don't know what you're talking about, and it ends in a weird sort of purity spiraling over who's got the real answer. Now, if they roll out a bunch of vaccines and keep going with the confusing contradictory measures, it basically means that everyone spends their time arguing about what the actual truth of the situation is, who to believe, what to do, and nobody actually comes up with any sort of decisive action based on perhaps practices that have worked in the past to dethrone totalitarian regimes before they even get there. Like how many, if anyone can tell me how many groups they've been in on Telegram, Facebook, wherever, right, everything in between. Can someone please tell me if anyone in these groups has mentioned Gustav Le Bon, Edward Bernays, or Gene Sharp at all?
There has been some mention of Bernays, mainly by myself and other big brain types. There is a group called the National Alliance that seems to be trying to form a political party. Of all of the groups I have run into on Telegram, they seem the most credible, rather than the crazy motherfuckers that are running around saying like, "Oh, we got to fight the cops. We got to take up arms and resist." Oh, Jesus God, fucking Christ, man! Like, I mean, just what the fuck? Seriously, you need a political solution. You're not going to get any kind of legitimacy just fighting the police. It's not going to work. And history has shown very, very clearly that violent action discredits your cause in the eyes of the normal people. You need a political solution with occasional direct action, like, peaceful protests and stuff to get the message out. You're not going to get anywhere just fighting the cops. But you're right. There is no. May I add, Strawberry, that and Pavlov, perhaps you can come in here. What historical examples, and do you have any historical examples of when a totalitarian regime was about to be taken over and it was resisted by anything else other than another kind of totalitarian regime?
That's a very interesting question. I mean, I know what the answer that you're expecting here, and all I have to say is that I agree with the answer that you expect here. Because look, the thing is, there's this whole idea, this whole situation seems to me like a rock paper scissors kind of idea. There's one of them is this chaotic, destructive ideology like BLM, Antifa, this just pure chaos, pure destruction. Another one is this pure totalitarian communism, like a complete segregation of human rights, complete opposite of the previous one. And the third one is a more balanced, usually that we usually saw as a nation state idea of a country with freedoms, with freedom of speech, with all that good stuff. You know what I mean? A country with freedoms of speech has an advantage against a communist regime. And those advantages have been shown by the many conflicts between the US and the USSR. Especially in the military. It was actually the military. Like first, you might think, oh shit, the military of the USSR will be much more effective because it's like based and stuff, right? You need totalitarian military, right? Wrong. It's not like that. In the military, the USSR was completely dependent on the leader. Every single small decision needed to go through the leader, and thus it was a huge waste of time to relay every single thing that goes on to whoever was in charge, and then for him to relay those decisions back. In the US, in the other hand, it was much simpler. There were many different heads, many different points from where decisions were made, and thus decisions were made very quickly. It was shown in many different conflicts in which the US and the USSR were participating in.
There was loads of red tape in the USSR, wasn't there?
Exactly. It's simply more effective when it's put side by side. In economy, same thing. Will a person who's forced to work and give away most of the production work as well as a person who has a direct benefit in working harder? No, they won't. They simply will not. Time has proven that they will not. And thus, one of those is the rock and then the other one is paper. But we also have scissors, like the paper in this case is a free society, like in the West. The rock is the communist regime, but there's scissors, of course, and which is the chaotic ideas that we have in the BLM, in Antifa, in all the self-destructive ideologies that have been pumped into the West, because the West is weak against them, because they hit exactly where it hurts. Like, look, China is never going to have an existential crisis over a man saying, oh, suddenly I'm a woman. I'm just a woman now. I'm a woman. I don't want to have any kids. I don't want to look after any kids. I want my kids to get pumped with hormones and change their genders now. I want to make a protest near the government to completely freeze all kinds of trade because I'm triggered because of some random reason that I don't need to explain. Feelings are superior to facts. You see what I mean? These kinds of ideas, they have no power in a totalitarian regime like China. Zero. Nobody's going to give these crazies any kind of screen time. But in the West, there they have all the screen time they would ever need. You see where I'm going with this?
Do you know much about Antonio Gramsci, Pavlov?
Kind of ashamed to say that no, but do tell me.
Okay, well, just a little info dump for the listeners. Antonio Gramsci was an Italian Marxist who took the ideas of Marx and was responsible for the concept of the Long March through the institutions, which you may or may not know is the idea of subverting an entire country through the taking over of its fundamental cultural institutions. Gramsci realized that the main barrier to overthrowing society was what he called culture, although he meant it not in the sense that we think of today, but culture in terms of habits, beliefs, religion, education, all of these, what he called centers of cultural production. And thus these centers of cultural production must be seized. And he proposed to do this with a method that he called the Long March through the institutions, where all of these institutions are subverted essentially at the same time: law, education, culture, so that the society becomes progressively more and more and more weakened until it is vulnerable to essentially what is basically a two-step revolution. First, you have the cultural revolution. And then once the cultural revolution is complete and a society is completely disconnected from its history, then you have the actual hard revolution. I fear that the cultural part is what we are going through at the moment, although the whole COVID lockdown thing has really put another very interesting spin on it. See, you wouldn't be able to do this shit 100 years ago. There's just no way. Without Amazon and without like a bunch of like other stuff, without the internet, you literally could not just tell an entire country to lock into their homes. But because we are able to still talk online, there is a sort of distributed community that is keeping people, in my opinion, just on the sort of bare side of sanity. But I mean, no one ever really knows when the revolution is happening, do they? Sort of by definition, right? If they did know, they would stop it, right? History is like that, right? You look back a few years after, and you look back and you're like, oh yeah, that's when the Civil War started. That's when the revolution happened. I'm really worried that this new normal is going to go on much longer than people think, and that functionally speaking, Gramsci will have won. You talk about the trans thing, which personally I think is a bit of a distraction. I think it's more a symptom of the underlying Gramscian subversion, essentially, which all comes down to the whole woke social justice thing, right? Social harmony above everything else. Don't say bad words. Bad words will hurt people. So shut your fucking mouth. I mean, every single fucking totalitarian society in existence always came in with the best possible reasons. We have to do it for the workers. We have to do it for the poor. We have to do it to protect people. You realize that behind all these high-sounding words are actual motherfucking psychopaths who don't believe a word of it. I have increasingly come to believe that all of these protestations of sympathy, whether it's sympathy for the poor, whether it's sympathy for race, are purely politically expedient. I'll tell you an excellent example of this, right? So in the US, when they were in the primary, everyone was, before, oh, believe all women. Believe the womans. Me too. Where the fuck did that go? Where's believing all the womans that accused Joe Biden? All of a sudden, it is not politically expedient, and therefore it is dropped. There is no real concern.
Look, Chris, I agree with you in the sense that the trans agenda is more of a distraction, but at the same time, it's also an important tool of destabilizing society. Because look, I would say that in the destabilization of a society, there's two kinds of means in a way. There's intensive means and there's extensive means. The removal of freedom of speech is a extensive mean, which means it encompasses everyone. It extends to everyone, but it's not very intensive to each person. Like, it's simply kind of a hindrance, at least in the beginning. Like, it'll get worse with time, but it's just a hindrance, right? It doesn't directly fuck you up. Like, it doesn't kill you. Now, on the other hand, doing a transition, transitioning to be a trans person is something very intensive. It's something particular about a person. Like, millions won't do it. Probably even thousands won't do it. But the few people that do it are really fucked up by it. All you have to do to realize that is to just look at the amount of suicides per trans person.
I feel like you are missing the point entirely. You've read 1984, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember the scene where Winston is being tortured by O'Brien, right? And O'Brien is telling him, right, how many fingers am I holding up? He's holding up 4 fingers, and he wants Winston to say 5. Now, why is that? It is not that the difference between whether he is holding up 4 fingers or 5 fingers has any material difference. The point is to get Winston to deny the evidence of his own senses. This is the whole trans thing in a nutshell. You can no longer say a man is a man. You can't say that person is, just a man in a dress or someone who had surgery. Not that I have any particular ill will towards trans people individually, but I think their lobby is horrible. But the fact that everyone must accept it and deny the evidence of their own senses, this is the real crucial point. It is a habit that has to be inculcated amongst free peoples. And once it is inculcated, you can get away with anything. Oceania was always at war with East Asia. Joe Biden is our legitimate president. You know, you will eat the bugs. I wasn't really happy having freedom anyway. You get what I'm saying?
The left is a bit like a spoiled child, always trying to test the boundaries of their parents' patience.
Can I just say something about that?
For sure.
Please.
So,
I think.
okay, so regards, Chris, regards what you said about the left and about, you know, it generally just seems very coercive from all sides, because you have this illusion that we want to get rid of our freedom of speech because our feelings are getting hurt. So if I support BLM, you won't be able to hurt me because you won't be able to use the N-word, let's say, right? But that's getting rid of the freedom of speech. But eventually you're putting yourself in that cage where you will end up not being able to criticize the government because you got rid of by yourself of your freedom of speech to be critical of anything. So at some point it's not allowed to be critical of trans, it's not allowed to be critical of BLM, it's not allowed to be critical of, I don't know, whoever thinks whatever about, right? And eventually you will just end up in the situation that you cannot criticize government for taking away your rights. You cannot protest because you had this whole psychological buildup of just giving up your freedom of speech under this pretense that you won it yourself. And I think that's partially why it's happening right now, that there's so many people pro-lockdown for some weird reason I would not understand, because it's just a psychological manipulation that they make people feel like they really want it. They really want to be that really obedient slave that will ask for more lockdown measures and that will ask for less freedom of speech and etc. So for me, it just looks very manipulative on all levels.
Did you ever hear the story about Stalin and the chicken?
I think I did, yeah.
So there is a story, for the benefit of our listeners, that once when Stalin was demonstrating to his underlings on how to treat the people, he got a chicken, plucked it whilst it was still alive, so it was in incredible pain, and kept throwing it bits of kibble, and it kept following him around. And Stalin's lesson from this was that you can treat the people as badly as you want as long as they are dependent upon you for their survival. Did you hear about the new hate speech laws in Venezuela, by the way? Venezuela has hate speech laws. 20 years in prison you can get for them. And funnily enough, the guy who kept criticizing
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about Venezuela?
Yeah, of course. Venezuela, you know.
Are we talking about the same Venezuela that went through a massive economic collapse where people were eating from the zoo, and yet they have the resources to keep the prisons open for people who commit hate speech?
The glorious People's Socialist Republic of Venezuela. And these hate speech
the country with the highest oil reserves in the world.
Sorry, Bevak, what we?
I was saying it's the country with the highest oil reserves in the world, yet it's absolute chaos there.
Well, China wants those oil reserves. It won't do if the Venezuelans use them, like the Americans, for example. They're not going to be allowed to use their oil reserves. You know, what if the CCP wants them? You know.
Yeah, this is like the only reason.
Like, their fingers all many kinds.
The only reason Venezuela hasn't gone the way as Stalin did, you know, by forcing the farmers to just work for nothing, is because America would get involved. You know.
Well, probably not now. Now that Joe Biden is president. I mean, I know Trump has left like a lot of landmines for him. It's going to be very, very difficult for Biden to pivot towards favoring the Chinese. But
the Republicans are also trying to impeach him. In fact, they're doing it today.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to go. I mean, you know, look, it's probably only 2 more weeks, man. Trust the plan, right?
You know, no, I'm just saying, like, they do have, like, generally a lot of good evidence throw at Biden, especially with the shenanigans in Ukraine. And
But they do this with every president since Obama. They're like, oh, impeach him. And then, Trump comes in. It's like, oh, impeach him. So it's just, it's like baptizing a baby. Welcome to the church. You're going to get impeached on the way in. Are you okay with that? Sure. All right, then.
Man, they're never going to be able to do it anyway, as far as I understand. The Democrats, pretty sure, control the Senate, or very, very close to it. And my understanding is that once the trial is completed in the Senate, the way an impeachment is decided is by Senate vote. It's kind of like lustration in that sense. Lustration is an old term for where you just vote on whether someone is guilty of something. It was also known as a bill of attainder in the English Civil War. And it's a procedure so monstrous that it's actually outlawed 3 separate times in the US Constitution, because back in the English Civil War, the way they dealt with people is they just take you to Parliament, and Parliament would vote and be like, you're guilty. And as I'm sure you can imagine, that was a very, very, very fair and honest way of passing justice.
Always. Zero possibility of failure.
Well, especially if you don't have a secret ballot and everyone has to vote in front of everyone else.
Which was next door.
I don't think people appreciate how important the secret ballot is. You know what I mean, right? Like, let me give an example of this, right? So imagine your whole family is woke, right? You're like the only Trump supporter in LA, something like that, right? And the way the system works now is that when voting time comes around, right, you go into a little box by yourself and you vote with your conscience. But imagine if you had to vote in front of everybody else, right? So that everyone could see who you voted for. And imagine if there were very, very serious social penalties for voting the wrong way. Your wife might just divorce you. You might get fired from your job. You might be cast out of your community. Or even worse, you might be persecuted by the government that gets in. It's no coincidence that they don't have secret ballots in fucking communist countries. Politburo doesn't vote in secret. Everybody puts their hand up in front of everybody else as a way of enforcing conformity. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I don't mean to talk so much, but I got a lot to say on this stuff. I'm pretty pissed off.
No. That's okay, man. No worries.
I'm just wondering if anyone knows about the because if we go back to like the times when communist regimes were collapsed and no particular totalitarian regime followed, Hungary is the first example that comes to mind, because they don't seem to be playing by the EU's rules, as totalitarian as some people think that is. Czech Republic, I think they're late to the game on the EU at the very least. They seem like they're just going to free ride through it, make as much money as they can off the idiocy before it collapses, in the hope of gaining enough assets to stay afloat. Romania, again, another latecomer. They overthrew Ceausescu when they got fed up, and I don't think anyone filled his place.
The EU just like massively cucked to China, right?
Right. Yeah, I can buy that.
So they like literally, I think the day after the election, the day after the inauguration or something like that, they signed this massive trade deal with China. And China is already basically saying to the EU, don't you criticize us on Hong Kong anymore. Oh, and speaking of China, my favorite country, and anyone who knows me knows that I'm a great friend of the CCP. So, as you can probably tell from my accent, I am Australian. And today, the UN Human Rights Council released a thing whereby China criticized Australia for its human rights record. And in a 7-part thing said that it was Australia that really needed to clean up its human rights record. They need to end systemic racism. They need to stop oppressing minorities. They need to be held responsible for war crimes. China. Mind you, if you know anything about the UN and the current composition of the UN Human Rights Council, I think the current board is like China, Iran, Venezuela. I think Syria's on there. I mean, it is literally like all the worst people. It is fucking insane. And this is the shit that Biden is about to like suck the hungry cock of. He's about to be like, num, 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 num. Whoa, give me some more of that. Come on, man. Stick it in.
Highbrow, man. Highbrow.
You know me. highbrow and low class, mate.
Pray for Hungary in the chat. Hungary, amazing country. I've been there. Very beautiful. Their language is unique as well. They should preserve
Hungary's a very nice country. Where'd you
Say
go
again?
in Hungary? Where'd you go in Hungary? Which city?
Oh,
Obviously,
all over.
where
I mean,
else?
Budapest was fantastic.
Yeah.
Chimney cakes, by the way. Shout out to chimney cakes, the best fucking dessert I've ever had in my life. I went by, it was either Kaposvár or Kaposmero, where I saw the prestigious horse archery school of Kasai Laos, which is amazing. I also met a bunch of people called Gabor, which I understand is like the name John over here. Like every other person is a Gabor.
It's a popular name over there, isn't it?
Yeah, very popular. I did, of course. I went past Lake Balaton and had some fish from a local place, but I didn't see a huge amount of it. I don't think I stayed in Hungary that long. It was supposed to be a short one before I bounced on to Romania. But yeah, I had a great time. It was only like 3 days, but the horse archery school definitely worth looking up, man.
So I just wanted to say, Banksy just messaged saying we should let Paprika have a word. Please tell me to shut up if I'm talking too much. I know I am a very wordy mofo. Paprika, you got anything you want to add?
No, it's okay. You just speak a lot of different points, and the conversation goes quite quick. So I don't want to interrupt when you're speaking about something and you have your own flow. So it's all right. It's all right. Just keep talking, and I'll just ram in there when I have something to say.
Ram in there. Love it.
Well put.
Yeah, we need to find I think the right needs to create its own like parallel economy. So they need to create their own version of Twitter. They have to create their own bank accounts.
Well, they had
should just monopolize the black market.
They had their own Twitter, and it got the platform. So I think all the different platforms right now are just getting attacked. Even Ben Shapiro is like quite panicked, to be honest, and he's like a pretty big person.
Jordan Peterson and some other guy attempted to do that, but they just didn't have enough money. But hopefully now, with the silencing of Trump, they realize that there's a lot of money to be made by having a alternative to all these big tech things.
What will we use for money in the new coming black market, assuming that communism is going to come? Pavlov, I know you have what Ralph called post-communist PTSD, a quality that you and I both share. What would you think would, given that cash will probably be outlawed, what do you think will be the go-to monetary source?
Blood.
Oh, right in there. Yo.
So we'll all be living in Vampire the Masquerade, basically.
Well, I was meaning it in a more of a metaphorical way. Like blood will be like the currency, because people will be intimidated, they'll be killed, they'll be blah blah blah, all that stuff. But I like your idea too.
No, there's actually some credence. If you take it too seriously, there's some credence to that. Like grassing up your neighbors will get you clout. They absolutely will get you favors.
Well, I hear they're going to give you like £500 for a positive coronavirus test. So maybe money will be like positive test kits. I mean, this raises a really interesting possibility. You guys hear this story today, right? That someone floated this idea that you would get £500 for handing in like a positive test, right? So does that mean if I get confirmed with the Rona, right, and I like buy like 20 test kits, right, and I like, use them all, will I then be able to sell them for like 250 quid to like other people?
Yep, exactly. And that's another reason why blood could be used as a currency. Imagine that. Like you can
surely they'd be able to verify that all those kits were from you, wouldn't they? All the tests were from you.
Only if they ran a DNA test on it, and they're not fucking doing that, man. I mean, you realize like the testing regime at the moment is completely slapdash. I mean, they're using all these like instant testing kits and shit like that. They're running like RT-PCR. RT-PCR doesn't check your fucking genome. It just amplifies the sample. I think I'm onto a winner, a new business idea. You know.
Fucking hell, it's getting
Good luck
really
in making
dark.
your millions
I love it.
that way.
I mean, to be honest, I think the idea with paying for a positive result is just basically to encourage you to rely on the government to give you money. Because basically, for the moment, we're on furloughs. Now they want to pay you for a positive test. It just seems like they want to encourage you to not have any money. And then you have this whole idea about the Great Reset, don't have anything. Move everything to cryptocurrency or to some sort of a, like you said before, I think in some other stream, some sort of a version of a social score. So you don't have anything. And you have to be very obedient to the government in order to, you know, get your communistic meat voucher, something like that. In communist Poland, you didn't really have money so much. You just had a voucher. You stood in a queue and you gave your voucher. And you got your voucher when you were really nice to the government. So I don't think they want you to have any money or to use any real money equivalent. It's mostly just obedience.
Well, I'm actually talking about the black market, which is a big feature in any communist society.
One idea that crossed my mind, I think, last night was the idea that so lithium is an extremely rare metal, but it features in batteries for all sorts of tech, right? It features in phones, it features in laptops and so on. And it has a half-life of usefulness, and then you just have to replace it or get a new device. And as we all know, Apple releases a new iPhone every bloody year or so. Same with every other company that does smartphones now, at least once every year. So all this lithium is basically going to be expended. These phones are probably going to get thrown away before their lithium is fully expired, by the way. So it'll be a terrible amount of waste. And we're probably going to get to a point in our lifetime where people just won't have any devices to access the internet anymore. So any serious contenders that will help us build a parallel society, like Bitcoin, like Litecoin, like Ethereum, or what have you, these things may seem great now, but at some point we may not just be, there will probably be just a handful of people that have the technology to store it about their person in the form of a smartphone.
Did you guys catch the announcement that they're going to start heavily regulating Bitcoin? Bitcoin has fallen off a cliff since the inauguration. The new finance minister of the States, Janet Yellen, has already said that, you know, we must control Bitcoin because of terrorism. It's always fucking terrorism or protect the children or, you know, because, you know, this is the logic of social justice, right? If one person suffers, everyone must suffer. You can't just actually go after the criminals or anything like that. Oh, no. Everyone must change their behavior to try and make the crime impossible, which never fucking works, weirdly enough, because that's not the real reason. Banksy, I got a question for you, mate. You really should be on this. This is like your stream. What is the most secure crypto coin? I believe it's Monero. Is that right? But I can't get it on Coinbase for some reason. Is that because it has a very dark reputation? Banksy's not on here. He can't reply. Anyone else with crypto experience can answer that question for me?
By the way, Banksy, if you are here, you can put me on backstage for a while if you want.
Yeah, me too, Banksy. If you want back in, I mean, this is your stream, mate.
I don't know. I'll just throw in something before Banksy starts. I don't know that it's necessarily the coin. I think they're also mined in the same way. If I had to bet, I would say it's the wallet service that you use that is the most easily compromised, should we say?
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I just wanted to quickly jump on because it's me and Pavlov. Pavlov is also a co-owner of this the stream, so that's why I left him on, because he can MC the stream. But quickly, I just want to quickly say there are no stable cryptos. There's such thing doesn't exist, because cryptos are not regarded, or they're not backed like fiat currency is with the governments and so on and so forth. So the flux, that's why they fluctuate so rapid, so wild.
No. I didn't mean stable, Banksy. I meant which is the least prone to government regulation. which is the hardest for government to steal off you.
Well, the thing is, or anything on a blockchain is going to be incredibly difficult for a government to try to take off you, because your crypto is effectively spread all over the place. It's across a blockchain system, so they can't stop the blockchain. They can't lock it down because they don't have jurisdiction in every place that the blockchain exists. But what they can do is, like I think it was it's your exchange. It's where your wallet is. Your wallet is where the centralized location is. You see, your crypto may be blockchain, but your wallet isn't. Your wallet is centralized. So the exchange that you use is your vulnerable point. If you use an exchange within the jurisdiction of the government that wants to lock you down, that's where you get fucked. So,
and presumably there's no such thing as a distributed exchange, because in order to have currency, like surely the weak point is the point at which you convert the currency into actual fiat currency and then spend it until, I guess, unless you're only going to spend the coins.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to convert it to fiat, yes, that's where you get caught with the police, or the taxman will knock on your door. But if you simply exchange and actually buy goods and services, which you can buy by crypto only, then you remain effectively in that zone that is out of their reach. But they will find ways. I mean, they are reaching. I mean, right now, from what I understand, China is on the verge of releasing a centralized cryptocurrency. Britain or Europe and America are both looking into creating their own cryptocurrency.
Yeah, Fed coins.
Yeah,
as they call them.
Fed coins.
But these aren't going to be proper crypto coins. There's no way that a government is going to release a currency that it cannot inflate at will.
Yeah, it's going to be a digital version of fiat currency. It's a digital fiat currency, more or less.
That's not really crypto. That's just digital.
Yeah,
it's just digital money.
It's just digital fiat currency, because it's still going to be centralized. It's still going to be centrally controlled, which breaks all the ethos of crypto, which is supposed to be blockchain for the most part, or at least any crypto that comes onto the market should have a clear pathway towards decentralizing, because you can't release a crypto on the blockchain. Most cryptos will start off in some form or fashion, centralized in some means, even if their exchange that they release them on is centralized, and then eventually they'll have the ledger on the blockchain. But either way, it is the biggest issue right now with from what I understand. I'll be honest, I'm not a major crypto guy myself. It's just from what I understand, the biggest stumbling block is your exchange. It's at your exchange where you're going to get fucked. So you have to be very careful of who your exchange is, or where you exchange, or have multiple wallets in which you spread your crypto across multiple exchanges. So maybe that way you can keep yourself from getting screwed over by one particular government. But I mean, as far as most Ethereum and Bitcoin and I think there's another one called POP. I think there's one called POP. I forgot. There's a few other names that have come out recently. They are all fairly safe in the sense that they're blockchain, but you have to put them in an exchange somewhere in order to convert them to either other cryptos or fiat. So eventually you have to. Your road ends with an exchange somewhere down the line. You can't.
What if you find a way to embed a credit card into your skin or flesh of your hand?
What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah, that's what they're working on, though, isn't it?
No, but what would that do? What's the point of that?
Well, wouldn't that at least solve the issue of not losing your credit card?
Well, you don't have to have a credit card. You could have a microchip installed in the tip of your finger if you really wanted to. But how does that stop any government from stealing your money? You're screwed. The money is it has to exist in some place even in the virtual world. It has to be represented somewhere. It's at the exchange point, and not only that, money is only worth something when you can spend it. Thus, you come down to the point of who's going to be your payment processor. If your payment processor don't process your money it's as good as air. It's as good as sand. So the payment processors are all in the pockets of governments, and they're all working together anyway. You got your Visa cards, your Mastercards, your Stripes, whoever it is that your payment processor is you're still going to get fucked at the payment processor end, because eventually it comes to a point in which you have to say, I will give you this for goods and services, sir. I will give you this bag of rice for your bag of beans. Eventually you come to that point. And who's going to process that for you? And that's where this is where people like Gab and Parler and stuff all get fucked, is at that payment processor end.
It actually makes me wonder in the future whether if presuming we do get to a sort of communist state, whether there will be a job for basically people who know crypto and have like a good social credit score, where they can essentially hold and launder crypto for other people. You know what I mean, right? So, Joe Bloggs comes along and he's like, I want to put some of my money away in crypto. And, he goes to like the local, equivalent of a loan shark or whatever. And the loan shark has like a good, credit score and stuff like that. And so the government gives him a permit so he's allowed to possess crypto and gives him like cash. And the loan shark's like, okay, I'll take 10% of that and hold crypto for you. It's interesting to think about. By the way, Pavlov, this stream managed to get 12 dislikes. Did someone snitch on us to the Thought Police? What the hell's going on, bro?
Bro, I actually commented about it. Like, usually I don't really care that much, but it was like out of nowhere, in less than half an hour. Out of nowhere, like this stream.
Wait! Are you talking about this stream? Because I'm looking at this stream.
Can I encourage everyone to give this stream a like?
Dude, it's 11 up likes
against the mofos.
You need to update the page, Strawberry. It's 17 likes and 12 dislikes. That's what I've got.
I mean, it's
19 likes, 12 dislikes.
Look, honestly, I don't know that much, but it's just weird. Like, it's not a big stream. It's not a very...
The thing is, the stream has 13 people watching, and it has 13 dislikes and 21 likes. How is that?
That dislike button, ladies and gentlemen.
In like less than half an hour. That's the weird fucking thing. That's the weird part.
Probably one person with multiple accounts, Pablo.
Someone probably spammed it.
I bet you. Xi Jinping is wearing his unhappy face. Which looks just like his normal face, because he doesn't betray any emotion.
Chinese hackers, bro. Chinese hackers.
It's probably someone who doesn't like me or Banksy. Like, speaking of which,
no, they hate women talk. For sure. I must play my card, obviously, because I'm the only girl.
No, but speaking of which, I hate to make this lowbrow again, but I'll have to make it just for a little bit. Banksy, could you tell us a little bit more about the supposed debate between you and Zubida and how it never actually happened? Like, I was actually kind of excited to see how it would go, but apparently she bailed out. Banksy, you here?
Who bailed out?
Hello. Sorry, I took out Were and then I jumped in. Sorry, Were. I'll let you back in just one sec. The whole thing from start to finish, I got an email sent to me by this people who run the Speakers Corner online services, and they said, we're trying to set up some promotional debates, and would you like to be part of it as an early adopter? Because I basically signed up an account. I was one of the first few people by the looks of it, because Raj mentioned it. I saw it on Raj's show, and I thought, fuck it, because I've always been late to all social media. I was late for TikTok. I was late for Snapchat. I was too late for fucking YouTube. I've grown up. I've lived a life where I was on the internet before any of these things even existed. I should have actually been part of inventing some of this shit, and yet I was late to the whole party every time. So when these guys, when I saw these guys, and I thought, okay, they've got like fuck all anyone, there's no one on there, I'm going to be one of the first. I'll be the first adopter on this one. So I created an account and I started posting. And then they said, they emailed me. They said, we're trying to do some promotional stuff to promote the site. You want to do a debate? I said, sure. Who do you want to do a debate with? They said, you want to do a debate with Zebeda? And I was like, yeah, fucking bring it on. I am well up for that.
Okay, I'd probably watch that. What's the name of this site, Banksy? Give him a shout out since you're like talking about it.
Well, it's called Speakers Corner Online. Speakers Corner .online. Yeah, they're the guys who run this. I think they're Russian or Indian. I'm not sure, but I don't really care. It's not like I'm giving them my social security number.
Evil Russians.
Probably fucking Chinese at this point. But either way, after Parler dropped, I had a gap, and I really miss Parler. I like Parler, and I suddenly find myself in a place because I'm sick to death of walking on eggshells when I post. Do you know Twitter blocked my Banksy style account? Twitter locked me out.
Are you serious?
What did you do, Banksy? Did you breathe in a menacing fashion?
I literally, I hardly ever post on fucking Twitter. I'm barely a nobody. I've got 191 people following me on Twitter. I'm literally a nobody on Twitter. And they fucking locked my account the other day because I posted Fuck Muhammad, where I carved Fuck Muhammad into a page of the Quran. But that was like ages ago.
How is that all? I mean,
yeah, but I mean,
come on.
That was ages ago. That was like almost 6-7 months ago I did that. And no one even took any notice of it. I was like, I'm being well controversial here. I'm going to get a shitload of hate. No one even noticed. It literally went by without a single fucking mention. So I was like, fuck it. So anyway, because again, these guys, they mailed me. They said, do you want to do Zebeda? I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do it. And then the bitch pulled out. It was supposed to be on a Saturday. They emailed me saying, oh, she's pulled out on Saturday. She's going to do Sunday. I said, okay, fine. And I literally had other things I wanted to do. And I hung around my end of, neck of the woods because of this bullshit. And then she pulled out on Sunday as well. I was like, fuck this flaky bitch. So Sunday, I did a roast of fucking Zebeda. And I just fucking took her apart on my own show. And then I posted it on BitChute. But yeah, that's it really. That was the long and short of it. They wanted to promote it. I thought I'll get some promotion out of it for myself. Whatever. But nothing happened.
Get the link in the chat, Banksy. Get the link in the chat.
Oh,
yeah, I'm browsing through it at the moment.
Yeah.
Pulled it up. I was really curious.
I'm gonna jump off and let Wurs on.
I just want to say something that's striking about the first page is that there are two people who I've never seen in Speaker's Corner just shouting at one another. That's the first image you get up. I'll leave it in the YouTube.
It's probably stock footage. It's probably like a stock photo. Man, it's probably not real people.
True. Just seems a bit rude that they could have left out all regulars from the corner. Maybe they're trying to corporatize the corner next.
It's probably a Chinese op. Like Mao's let 100 flowers bloom. They get everyone to like sign up and express their opinions, and then they know exactly who to come for, mate.
I know, right?
I think Banksy's on a list after his Iran experiment. How dare you, Banksy? I am offended. And in the most noble woke tradition, I'm going to say stuff about you while you're not here to respond, because I don't want your words hurting my feelings. So it's only appropriate.
Better for your health, man. Better for your health.
Oh wait, I think I found it now. It's in the description. Yeah, Thoughts 49. The drunken troll returns last thought of the year on BitChute. It's in the description of this video. So definitively, guys, check it out. It's another video of Banksy roasting Zebeda. So how the fuck do you go wrong with that?
Did you post it in the chat? One thing about this Speakers Corner Online thing I just noticed is you can't even view any posts until you log in. I am suspicious about that. I got to say, what? Like, I think that our country is you can't even see what's on the site until you give them your details.
It's like one of those
emoji.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where you get advertised some service or what have you, and it says sign up is totally free. And then you find out every single piece of content on that website is completely premium. Gab did a similar thing. Gab has done a similar thing. You cannot open a group that people could be interested in. Like say you happen to be interested in carpentry. You have done it for 5 years, right? You somehow carve out really edgy sculptures. You're like, well, people on Gab would appreciate this, and maybe I can make some money off them one day. Well, the first obstacle is you have to pay to open up that group that you can attract people to, or you don't get a group. You just have to rely on your regular feed to advertise your stuff. Your amazing dissident wood carvings.
No, man, Jesus was a carpenter, and look how badly that ended.
One thing I want to say, no, you can see some stuff if you scroll right down to the bottom. There are some things that were posted, but I don't know. I can't click on anything unless I log in. If I'm logged out,
you have to log in before you can even view the posts.
Yeah,
that seems a little sus to me. I'm personally just loving Telegram at the moment. Given the lockdown, I'm just spending most of my time like on fucking like Trump channels and stuff. Oh my god! I mean, it's mental the shit they're saying now. Any of you guys follow this stuff? So apparently the White House that Biden is in is like fake. All the QAnon tards are still like 2 more weeks, man. Trust the plan. There's gonna be a military coup. The cope is just insane, man. Like, yeah, weird stuff. Like, but you know, it's gives me something to do.
Sing, Mr. Sing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen it. Some people are really shattered by the situation, and you know, I can't say that I'm happy, but yeah, some people are really fucked with this. Yeah, I'm not sure if what will happen. I mean, at this point, it's pretty clear what will happen now. Like again, I asked this question before, and I ask it again: does anybody remember a single American president that has had this much intervention of the military when he was elected? Like maybe when they were fighting against the British, maybe when they had the war, maybe back then there were troops all around the place. In no other occasion, like unless there's a direct war in the country.
I can't remember anything like it, and I haven't ever heard of anything like it. I mean, I'm not an expert in U.S. Civil War history or anything like that, but it seems truly unprecedented. They're certainly not behaving like a legitimate regime. Let's put it that way. You know, usually when you are like voted in by the people, you don't need more troops than you sent to fucking Afghanistan in one city to protect you.
Yeah, it's been like one of the most controversial election years, isn't it? Like the feelings on both sides of supporters have been so strong, haven't they? And we saw what happened in the Capitol building. So I think there's always bound to be like a, you know, step up in the security.
Well, I mean, it's war.
Yeah,
it's war, man. I mean, like it's civil war. I know this might be another hashtag unpopular opinion, right? But let's ask ourselves like this question, right? What is war fundamentally, right? Like, yes, you know, it's the fighting and stuff like that. But what fundamentally is war, right? It's when you have two different groups who cannot agree, right? They cannot come to a fundamental understanding between one another. They cannot share. They cannot agree. And because of this, they must fight. And I would argue that that's exactly the position that the US is in, and even more so after this election. Fully half the country thinks it was a load of bollocks. Whether that's actually true or not is kind of at this point irrelevant. All that really matters is that half the people think it was bollocks, if you get what I'm saying.
Just to let Pavlo know, we have a potential second contender for the spot number 6. Don't know who wants to make
Natty's
the
in the chat. Let Natty in. I can go off for a bit if you guys want.
I'll hold on.
I can swear I've seen panels with 7 or more.
Take me or take someone else. Let Natty say something.
Dead air. That's not good.
Yeah, but guys, he's not there. I don't see anyone. He's not in the back chat. He's not in the back list. He has to come in. Where is Natty?
Natty's a she.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay,
I don't
sorry,
know
she.
Oh no, sorry, she's just in the chat. She's not in the lobby apparently.
Yeah.
Natty, join the stream.
Also long.
Bruh. You know you want to. Come on, man.
Oh, James jumped off as well. Yeah, I mean, if she wants to jump on the panel, she has to come onto the actual live stream, StreamYard. The link is pinned in the chat anyway, so anyone can click. I see. Oh yes, Natty's in the thing. Yeah, James went. James. I'm not sure.
It's Jamie.
Jamie, yeah. He dropped. So
He sounded a bit tired.
who? Jamie.
Can't blame me.
His voice is there.
He needs a good dose of eugenics today. He hasn't had enough of it.
He's gone somewhere else to find that.
Muscular eugenics.
Muscular eugenics.
Now that is a great phrase. Like, I mean, that would be a great T-shirt, or like a name for, like, I don't know, Alex Jones's new protein powder.
Muscular eugenics.
Or just a recipe for generating a population like Iceland.
Yeah.
That's similar to Bob the Builder's muscular Christianity that he preaches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. They're putting chemicals in the water, making the frogs go gay. That's why you need to drink some muscular eugenics.
I will eat my neighbors and then have a nice tall glass of muscular eugenics.
Make sure you get your muscular eugenics for InfoWars stores. I was watching this fucking live stream of Alex Jones the other day. He's just a grifter. The whole show is just giant. It's a giant infomercial for his fucking snake oil that he sells on that show. It's like, dear God, every other minute. Yes, yeah, you feel like your balls are in the grip of the lefties, of the Illuminati. Yeah, you need to drink Alex Jones's piss juice. I don't know. It's just like fucking hell. Anyway, I'm gonna let Natty on.
I personally like his new brand of barbecue sauce. Alex Jones, eat my neighbor's barbecue sauce. If you are forced to eat your neighbors, don't eat them without a good barbecue sauce.
The coming collapse will require of Americans that they eat their babies.
Yo, Natty, what's up, man?
It's a lady.
She's in the chat. You gotta unmute your microphone, Natty. Say hello. I think she's shy.
Okay,
she's struggling like Atlas.
So is muscular Christianity like when Jesus like lifts weights? Isn't that a little bit hard?
No. Muscular Christianity
use those like those little finger weights, like those
muscular Christianity is forcing Christianity down your throat.
So I had to get it on this. Muscular Christianity is when Jesus does reps for Jesus.
So is muscular Christianity
Sacrilege. How can you say that?
Lifts weights? Isn't that a little bit hard? No. Muscular Christianity use those like those little finger weights, like those
muscular Christianity is forcing Christianity down your throat.
Natty, we're getting a massive amount of reverb. If you have a headset, please plug one in. But yeah, I would say muscular Christianity. How many Bibles can you even lift, bro?
Well, I mean, he does look very shredded up on that cross. Have you seen the abs on most crucifixes?
Yeah, he's lean as fuck.
Yeah, man, he's shredded. He works out, man. Mind you, I mean, I guess you probably burn a lot of calories being crucified. Having to like support yourself like that.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Like he had to carry that cross all the way up a damn hill. It's like people who roll tires for exercise. It's not.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Not something to be scoffed at.
Yeah,
that would be a good event for the world's strongest man competition, wouldn't it? Carrying like 10-ton crosses on your back.
Oh, it probably offend too many people, man.
That's why Polish people think that Jesus was Polish, because we had the strongest man in the world for a few years.
There's Mariusz Pajanowski was strongest man for many years, wasn't he? He was from Poland.
Yeah. So Jesus was his prototype in Poland. Yes.
Hello, I'm here. Just saying hi.
Hello.
Thanks for inviting me on.
Hey, Natty, how's it going, man?
It's all right. It's all right. How are you guys?
Laughing in the face of oncoming doom, I think would probably encapsulate my mood the best.
Huh.
Mostly coping and trying to find some dark humor in all this, because what else is there? What else is there?
There must be some kind of collective dooming going on, because about 2 hours ago I was sort of looking at social media a bit, and it probably is the result of Boris's speech, isn't it? And I just felt this dark cloud just get darker, you know, around.
The Dooming Part 2 in cinemas now. What did what did that mophead motherfucker actually say?
Bojo.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but he basically said they're worried about the new variant, the new strain, probably going to have higher mortality rates, and lockdowns are never ending ever again. Pretty much.
I mean,
did he do the thing?
My little black heart. Fuck.
Sure?
I was going to say, did he do the thing that he's done with other speeches in the past, where he says, "Oh, it'll be at 4 in the afternoon, no worries," and then suddenly it becomes 4:30, becomes 5, and then eventually it becomes 6.
I don't know. I didn't watch it live. I saw it afterwards. So
it's just
what happens.
It's just one of those little things that just, I think, is done deliberately just to make it a bit more torturous for the public who actually want to tune into it. I mean, I may be reading too much into it, but at this point, it's just psychological warfare everywhere, and I just have to judge it by precedent, basically. They're trying to squeeze every ounce of hope out of us that they can get.
And to be honest, it might not even be conscious on their part, you know, because they're so uncaring and have that as the overbearing agenda. And every little thing they do is probably going to accentuate it. You know, they might not sit in their office and go, "Oh, let's just, you know, delay it for an hour on purpose." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new COVID propaganda? I know that we all don't get out much, but I was out the other day and I saw these new posters they've got out, and you know, they're doing the classic Big Brother thing, the staring eyes above the, you know, the mask. But what really struck me is that they seem to be using a color scheme of sort of poop brown and like urine yellow, which made me really think, because both of those kind of like shades generally induce like strong disgust reactions in people. So they're really ramping the fucking fear up, like literally to 11. Now, usually if you're in government and there's a real crisis, you actually do the exact opposite, right? You know, you look at a lot of like war stuff. They're like, you know, keep calm, carry on, it'll be right. No, the government's they're doing the full retard, man. They're like, be afraid, be very afraid. No, I'm more afraid than that. Now, come on, you can be a little bit more afraid.
They want us all to comply.
Yes, exactly.
Allegedly, in the German vaccine that was being rolled out first, people were saying that they had loaded it with oxytocin, and I didn't understand what the hell that was about. But because basically, oxytocin, for anyone who doesn't know, is the hormone that your body emits when you love someone, essentially, but deeply. So if you've had a long-term social pair bond with anyone, like mother to child, spouse to spouse, and so on, like, you will just emit oxytocin, and it sort of gets you hooked on that person. So the logic behind that was that
it's also released in large amounts when you're giving birth, and it pushes labour forward. Just wanted to.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Okay. But yeah, basically,
I think it also has a role to play in liminence. Like when you get a crush on someone, I think oxytocin is also involved in that, but only to a much shorter degree than the kind of pair bonding that you're talking about, say, with a child.
Yeah, but I mean, the idea was just to get people to have that mental association with positive feeling or whatever, so that they'd be more likely to be compliant in the future with whatever comes next. But sayonara to Pablo, guys. He just jumped off the stream.
Yeah, Pablo.
Pablo's gone. Come back, man.
Can we get an F in the chat? Can we get an F in the chat for Pablo?
F in the chat for Pavlov. Is he coming back, or is he?
No, he's gone. He's gone for the night. Just drop a little 40 for my homies. It's so good, guys. To be perfectly honest, it's 2.5 hours now we've done the show, and I usually try to keep it in like human hours so that someone who wants to watch it on replay can still manage it. So I'm gonna, although I feel bad because Natty just came on and she's a lovely person and I didn't even get a chance to talk. Natty, I'm so sorry.
No worries.
But let's every Friday 8 o'clock, guys. Anyone wants to come every Friday 8 o'clock? Either me or Pavlov. Come hell or high water, no matter what the communists do, we will have this show. So
to try and keep everybody sane.
Yeah, I mean, me and Pavlov have made a commitment every Friday 8 o'clock. Either he does it or I do it, whichever one of us is available. Between the two of us, we'll always make sure that the show goes on. So if you guys want to chat, if you want to just shoot the shit, whatever it is, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try and keep this thing as open as possible. I mean, tonight I picked the Davos World Economic Forum because I thought it would be interesting and controversial, and in all honesty, it led to all the conversations you guys just had about all the conspiracies and stuff. So it worked out. It was a general topic. But yeah, it's all great. Thank you everyone for coming. I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend, and peace out. Cheers.
Thanks, Banksy, for having us. Remember to smash that dislike button, everyone.
Yes. Love you guys. I'm out.
Okay.
Peace.
See you.
Okay, guys and girls, I do apologize. I had a few things. Suddenly I realized I jumped out of the stream myself ahead of time. Well, guys, thank you for coming, everyone. It was awesome. We're gonna wrap it up with a little music, and peace out. We'll catch you guys every Friday, 8 o'clock. The show must go on. Either me or Pavlov will be hosting this every Friday, 8 o'clock. Tune in next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.